introduction. Thank you so much. It is such a dream to see all of you with your smiling faces here. Thank you very much. My role today will be of panel moderator for an amazing group of women. And before I start the introductions and invite our panel to come to the podium here and talk about it, I do want to mention a couple of things. First of all, I want to Congresswoman Johnson, after 17 years at TI, many of the things you said about STEM just resonated with me so much. Thank you for saying that. And also, where is Ms. Sharif? The things you said about gender equity, of the things with a firefighter, a police officer, those are the small things that we do that are huge. Because our role, we have two roles, right? We have a role as a person of business or of work, that's one role. Inherently, power is around who are we as authentic people. And so I do want to start with just one story about, you mentioned IIT in India. So when I was 15, I graduated from an all-girls women's school, convent school, and I see some people in the audience who I graduated from the same school from. Hello. And so I was really, in the youngest of four girls, totally unexpected. I just did not expect what happened when I got into IIT. Because my first year in IIT, I looked up, and there was me and 39 boys. And one of the boys had been nice enough to carve on my desk. We had these wooden desks, and we had the same desk the whole year. So that was going to be my desk for the whole year. Devjani Mukherjee, road roller ahoy. Now, those of you who are not from India may not understand that analogy, but a road roller is this huge steamroller, and it was a comment about my weight. Okay? And I looked at that at the age of 16, and I thought, I can cry, and that would give that nameless, faceless person the satisfaction. I can show that person. And so that is the kind of resilience we want our young women to have, because it's not just our young women, okay? I've been told by my older sisters never to reveal my age in public, so I'll just say that 5 years ago when I was in my early 50s, let me say that way, then you know. But a week later, I also was told in IIT by one of the young men at IIT, do you know what IIT females represent? And I said, what? And he said, IIT females prove that brains and beauty don't go together. This is what he said to me. Okay, it was a running joke in IIT. Years later, I think to myself, all I did was blah, blah, blah. I couldn't think of what to say. What I should have said was, you're not a Mr. Universe yourself, right? I could have said that. Or I could have said, are you sure that's about IIT women and not about IIT men? I mean, I could have thought of so many things. The point is, each of us will have some of those things. So as we hear our panelists, our amazing, distinguished panelists, what I'd like you to do is to think about two things. Not just the content of what they say, but think about the process by which they have achieved this level of success, and what can you take uniquely that applies to you. Because I love that term power. That term power is in all of our books. We are a community. This room is full of power, but it's not necessarily loud power. It is gentle power, it is strong power. Neil was so helpful to me. So, my book just came out this week, and yesterday we heard it hit #1 in Amazon and the bestseller in the US. The power didn't come from the book, I can tell you. It's just been launched. People have not read it. It came from people like you. It came from the community of people all around that wanted us to succeed. No session in which I speak is complete without me saying something very controversial. That's just what I love to do. There are two types of women, and I want you to think about which type of woman you are. There are women that help other women, and there are women who, when they are successful, almost serve as barriers to other women's success. You're nodding, you have experienced this. I want to ask you, which kind of woman will you be, or are you? Because together we can be amazingly powerful. So with that, I would like to start introducing our panelists, and I think you will be so impressed by the things that they have accomplished and the way in which they've accomplished it. So we will start with Ms. Neeti Khaitan Gupta. Did I get that right? Her story is inspirational. So you have, in the last 2 pages of your brochure, you have all of the 4 of our bios. So I'd like to have you keep that as a reference. And as you're looking at Ms. Neeti Khaitan Gupta's bio, what I'd like you to look at, of course, there's all the accolades and the things that she's done, like amazing things that she's done. But what I also want to add, not only is she an advisor in the United Communications Company, you can read with me all the things that have made her like amazing and accomplished. But the more personal piece with that, which she has given me permission, and she will talk about this, she will answer the first question when we have the panelists, is that she acquired polio at the age of 2, and she was near death. And the physicians had actually given up on her, not once, but many times. And through it all, she persevered, because she is here in her glory, and she's a motivational speaker by nature of these things, and she will explain more about that. She is from an entrepreneurial family, but what is unique is her own individual spirit and drive. So please give a warm welcome to I would also like to introduce Ms. Chandra Thandapani, if you would come up to the stage, please. And as she's coming up, let me tell you that Ms. Thandapani, she is CBRE's most senior global technology leader. She has not just survived, she has thrived in a male-dominated environment. And not only does she have this aspect of it, she was a senior technology executive at the Capital One Financial for 17 years, I believe. She has been a digital transformation leader. She's the CIO in the CBRE's Financial Services Division. And she has implemented industry-wide technology solutions, which have changed the way in which some of these techniques and tools have been utilized. She's based in Dallas, and she really likes to study. I can see from her bio, because she has degrees in mathematics, and she has 2 masters. One of them is from IRMA in India. It's marketing and finance as her background. She has a second MBA in information systems from the University of Arlington. And you will hear more about her amazing accomplishments, but please let's start with a round of applause for Ms. Chandra. And our third panelist, I would request Dr. Jaya Kumar to come up to the stage. Dr. Kumar is a physician leader. She is confident, self-motivated, and persistent. These are the words she's used to describe herself. And as you're looking at the words that she's used, she said to make sure that also to add that she is married to Sanjeev Kumar for over 17 years with 3 beautiful children. So that is such an important part of who she is. She's actually very well known as a speaker. Some of you may have heard, was it on NBC that you had the TV programs, and people will say, oh, Dr. Kumar, you've got to have her because of the way she speaks. The things that she does, she's also, I believe, a lifelong learner. She has degrees in King George Medical College in India, Long Island College, New York, University of California, San Francisco, University of Arkansas Medical Sciences. So it just took me 5 minutes just to read her degrees and her background. She basically enjoys mentoring women, whether they be physicians or nurses, and her specific interest is physician communication as well as patient satisfaction. So you can see the caliber of the women here on the panel. So what we're going to do at this point is, I'm going to start asking them some questions. The way that we'll do it, we have about half an hour. So we'll have them, I'll ask a series of questions. We'll do this for about 15 or 20 minutes so that we leave enough time for your questions, because your questions sometimes are really very critical. And there's an order in which we'll ask different questions. So I'm going to join them here, and let's get started.
Can you all hear us?
Yes.
Can everybody hear us in the back? Raise your hand in the back if you can hear us. And you want us to get handles? Thank you. Is that better? Well, it would be better if I turned it on. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
That's better. Okay, so what we'll do then, we have two mics. I'll ask the question and then we'll ask them in a certain order. And I think one of the questions, and Neeti, I think you said that you would like to take that particular question, and that question had to do with what are some aspects of your personality, of who you are as a person, that has helped you to achieve this level of success? And if you don't And so what are some of the aspects of your personality, do you think, that has helped you to achieve success and reach this stage in your career?
Thank you very much for having me, and very happy to be here to see this wonderful audience. I think very early on, as you said, I did acquire polio when I was 2 years old, and my parents raised me very, quote unquote, the word normal. I never realized I had a disability. I always wanted to go and help people when I saw them in trouble, and not realizing that I needed help myself at times. When I came to the US, I was 18 and I came here to do my undergrad. While I was graduating, I had to do my senior thesis. And I remember the professor saying, you have to prepare your presentation and go in front of an audience and present your thesis. And that night, I knew my thesis was great, but I was very nervous because I was going to enter a room full of men. And those times, I'm not aging myself, but there were a lot of men in the room and very, very, very few women. I think I was the only woman in that room. And that's the time I realized that, my disabilities, which were a handicap that I obviously people could see. I was a woman. I was extremely short, and I had an accent. I was from a foreign country. And being here, how would I enter this room, and how would I be able to have these people listen to what I have to say, and not just look at me and make their own decisions on who I am? And that's the night I realized that the exact same things that are my disabilities are actually my assets. When I walk into a room, and it's true even today, people turn around and look at me because I walk differently, and I look different. And I talk, of course I have an accent. And those are the exact same things. That's when I smile at them and I say, hi, I'm Neeti. And once I start talking, I'm hoping that they forget all the other things, that the baggages that people have added on to me that I don't carry for myself. And so there's a Leanne Womack song that says, if you have a chance to dance or sit down, I hope you dance. So I guess I just chose to dance, and I think that was my and I hope I still do.
Very inspirational. Thank you so much. I would like to ask if Chandra or either of you would like to answer that question. In terms of what might be something in your personality that has helped you achieve that level of success. Chandra, we've asked you. Oh, you do? Oh, perfect. Yes.
All right. First of all, I would say, Neeti, two things. When I first came to the US, I think it was 97, honestly, I thought everyone else had an accent. And I didn't know how to do, right? Because you're in Texas, Oklahoma, Boston, you have different accents. I didn't realize that. And the song you mentioned is one of my favorites.
My favorite too.
So, it's interesting. You asked me what in my personality has led me to what I'm doing now. I would say more than what's in my personality, it's the people who supported me. And I grew up with mostly spending time with my grandmother because I had a working mom. And she always made me feel, and I didn't realize that when I was growing up, but just made me feel that I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I put my mind to, and I come from a family of, I have 3 older sisters and a younger brother. I never felt that I was a girl or a girl child who had to do things differently, and I think that played a huge role. Most of the time I don't realize that I should feel conscious or be any less confident, so I think that was fantastic. The other thing I'd say is, just don't let anybody tell you what you can or can't do. As long as each of us define what we are capable of, most of what we do and what we can achieve is within us.
Devyani. Thank you for introducing me with such flair. But in short, my introduction, I would say, is my name is Jaya Kumar. I'm a physician, I'm a leader, I'm a woman, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, and I'm a sister, and I'm the mother of my 3 children. So these are the key words ingrained in my life, and I celebrate womanhood every day. So I'm so glad to be here. I'm so honored and humbled to be here. And I'll tell you, the 2 traits that I consider the most important for any woman is strength and determination. And I can tell you the story of my life. I come from a very modest family background. I lived in a small town in Bihar, Patna. My parents were college professors, struggled to make ends meet, and they gave the best education I could have gotten with me and my 2 brothers. Even more modest was my mom's background. She was born in a village in 1945. She's still alive and she's still an inspiration to me. But at that time, in those years, in a village, a woman to go to a school or to have college education was unheard of, leave alone have a career. But from the beginning, she was so determined to become a career woman that she fought with the society, fought with her parents to go to school, go to college. She fought all her life, basically. Like every other woman, they were supposed to get married. She got married. She moved with my dad. We had a family. She never stopped fighting. She still struggled to be a career woman, to a point that she convinced her in-laws and my dad to do PhD. And she did PhD for one of the premier institutions in India, Benares Hindu University. And eventually she became a college professor in Hindi. And she outranks a lot of women, and she's an example to me. And I grew up seeing such a role model that these 2 traits were just ingrained in me. I just woke up at night, my mom is writing a thesis. In the morning, she's cooking breakfast, she's getting us ready for school. 24/7 chores, but she was determined to be successful, and she is with her career as well as her kids' careers. So I think determination is a very key contributing factor to a woman's success. Even today, as a physician, I'm required to be on call, and those calls can be night calls. In the middle of the night, I have an emergency, I have to go, and I don't come back up until the next morning. So my 7-year-old one day discovers that my mom, after putting us to sleep, disappears in the wee hours of night and comes home early morning, and she's still cooking, still getting them ready, still sending them to school, and then she's ready for work. And he calls me, "Mom, how come you live a ninja lifestyle?" And that struck me. I'm like, you summed up my life in one word. Ninja, a warrior. We all women are warriors. We fight a war at work. We work harder than our male counterparts to prove ourselves. We come home, we are the CEOs of our house. We do the cooking, cleaning, laundry more than our male husbands would do. So we are warriors, and the 2 main traits of a warrior is courage and determination. So women, celebrate yourself with courage and determination.
That reminded me of the story. One of the things, I talk about shattering stereotypes, and we had a family reunion, which I had initiated, and I was going crazy, 9 people and cooking and trying to be super mom. And it's our son, who's 30 years old, he came to me and he said, I'm probably a better cook than you, which is true. And how about I do breakfast for the reunion? And that's what he did. He went, got the groceries, he's an adult, he's 30 years old. He got the groceries, he came back, he not only cooked, he also cleaned the kitchen afterwards. It's a huge. So yes, we are strong, we are determined, I love that. And, I'm not using the word but, and maybe we can train the other gender as well to be equally excellent. Okay, so now we're going to another question, and that question, I'm going to start with you, Chandra, with your permission. And that question has to do with, if you had to do it over again, what might be some of the lessons? What might you have done differently? What might have been like an aha at this point in my career, or this point in my life? It was a turning point, there was a fall. I would have done something different.
It's interesting. When I was growing up, I thought I did my undergrad in math, and I I thought all I wanted to do was to stay home. And I thought, cool thing, I'm going to stop studying. You said I'd love to study. I actually thought I'd stop, and then, in India, right, get married, have kids, and life is good. And but I realized that I didn't really, my parents at the time didn't let me do it. They said, you got to go do your master's. We don't care where you do your master's, but you have to. So that's what led me to. So I would say these are things that probably I wish I had learned sooner. Number one, I heard Bonnie St. James say once this phrase, be helpable. And it really stuck with me because a lot of times we try to be like super women, super men, any gender, right? You try to do it all and you think your strength is in actually doing things yourself. And the phrase, be helpable, really struck with me. And the thing that I wish I learned along the way in my career, but I wish I'd learned sooner, is I remember once one of my managers, amazing leader, he sat me down and he said, you know what the problem is? I thought I was being very successful, and he said that your problem is you just want to do it all yourself. And there was a colleague of mine who was struggling, and the organization kind of knew this person was struggling. My immediate reaction was to say, you know what, I can take over what this person is doing and I can do it, right? And he said, that's the problem. You just have to figure out how to help, collaborate, and you can achieve so much more. Thankfully, I was much younger in my career at the time, and it made me take a step back. And initially, of course, I got angry with people. What do you think you're saying, right? But I stepped back and thought about it, and I will tell you, I practiced that over and over again. I share that with my team. There's so much you can achieve by the power of teamwork, and sometimes the phrase is overrated, but just collaborating, whether it's in your community, whether it's at work, and even within your family, right? My husband, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without the support of my husband. I have a 10-year-old, and they both are my entire, my universe, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the support and help that he provides me, and he won't be able to do what he does without us working together as a team. So I'm a huge believer. I wish I had learned that sooner, but I think thankfully I learned it early enough that it seemed to be okay.
Thank you. That be helpful. I'm making a note of it. That's great. Neeti, how about you? What might be something you might have done differently earlier on, or even recently?
Just the other day we were having a conversation with some friends, and they said, we were talking about some lady, and I said, she's really a strong woman, and somebody said, doesn't she have to be because she's successful? And like you, I couldn't sleep 2 nights because I kept thinking, what does power mean, and what does it mean to be successful? And do you really have to be that strong, and you have to kind of show it? And so I think I worked very early on, and I go back to how I grew up and how I progressed here. Is that sometimes just to be successful, you don't have to show your power. You can achieve a lot of things by being kind and nice and having a smile, because I firmly believe that a smile is a curve that straightens all the other curves. And, but then there's always that line that you have to make sure that people don't take your kindness for your weakness. And so very early on, I learned where to draw that line and where to kind of show that, yes, I'm kind and nice, but don't take me for a ride. And I think my lawyer friend would agree that very early on, I also learned to put everything down on paper. We as women, and as human beings, just not being women, we trust a lot, and we should, we really should. But as a businesswoman, I've learned, put everything on paper. You could be working with your best friend, you could be working with your husband, with your family, with your friends, with people that you don't know, people you know very well. Just put it down on paper. We as women sometimes don't take our own interest, don't keep our interest first. And you are a human being who's extremely important to yourself. And I would learn that, I would teach that. Put everything on paper and value yourself.
Thank you very much, Neeti. Thank you. And I'll ask that same question of you, Jaz. What might you have done differently if you had to look back on yourself earlier in the career or recently?
What I would change is I would have been more assertive, more self-confident, and I would have made more connections earlier on in the career. I would step out more out of my comfort zone and make more friends. And I definitely would not delay childbearing just because we are career women. I would say both can go hand in hand, and you don't have to compromise one over the other at all.
Thank you very much. That's excellent. So what we like to do now, we have just one or two more questions. So if you start thinking of your questions that you'll ask for us in the panel, we still have several minutes. I'd like to also say that what might be some of the challenges that you faced, and I'll start with you, perhaps, Niti, in terms of some challenges that you faced, and what was the lesson you learned from it? How did you deal with them? Specific things, and of course, you've shared. All of us have shared something, so something new or different from what you've shared.
So I think the one of the challenges I still face is people think it was easy for me. Just because I come from an entrepreneurial family, I had resources available to me, so they think it was much easier because I had resources and because it was easier for people to open the doors for me. But I think it was the opposite. I think that was a challenge for me to overcome that because somebody could open a door for you, but it's up to you to walk through that door and stay in that room. It's easy for me to get a spot on the table, but I have to prove myself to make sure that I keep that spot on the table. So I think that one of the challenges that I've faced is that people have actually turned around and told me, oh, it must be easy from you because you come from this family. But on the contrary, that has been also a challenge because I constantly have to prove that it's Niti, not Niti Khaitan, who has earned that spot on the table. So I think, again, I go back to valuing yourself, and there's I believe in a lot of sayings, and one of his, I always cribbed of having no shoes until I met a man with no legs. So we're very thankful for what we have because there might be somebody who doesn't even have that. So yes, I do have a disability, but I also have very loving family, very loving friends who've always supported me, very loving community that has always encouraged me. And so I think, again, turning a challenge into an asset is what I believe in. Never taking a no and never saying a no with a smile.
Thank you very much, Niti. I'm going to move the order around. Yes, please, let's be generous enough. I'm going to ask Jaya. I'm sort of mixing up the order just a little bit. And so the similar question around the challenges that you have faced, Jaya, what would you share with us?
See, it's a very interesting story. Medicine, as you know, has been hostile and unfair to women historically. And Congresswoman Bernice will agree with me since she's a nurse. Women did not have a place in medicine for a while. The first woman to graduate from a U.S. medical school was Elizabeth Blackwell in 1849. Before that, women were not allowed in medical schools. Even the male physicians had to vote on getting Elizabeth into the medical school. How ironic is that? We celebrate a doctor's day and a women doctor's day. That tells you how important that day was for us, for women physicians. We don't celebrate a men doctor's day, but we have a women physician day, and I'm proud of being that part of that community. So since Elizabeth Blackwell came on to the field of medicine, she promoted more and more women and more physicians into this community, and eventually by 1900s, if you were to ask a family saying how likely are you to recommend a son or a daughter in medical school, and guess what would be the answer? 25% would have said yes to the son, only 2% would have said yes to the daughter. Going forward, we've made huge and long strides in women in medicine, but nowhere close to our goal. Right now, in 2000, or even before 2000, probably in late 1900s, about 10 and 10% said, yeah, they would want their son or daughters to be in medicine. And currently it's up to 25% for women. So I'll tell you some interesting statistics that non-physicians don't know about. About only 30% of the US physician workforce is women. The rest 70% is male. Although the US population has close to 50% women. About women leaders in medicine, like physician executives, deans of medical school, only 3% of women physicians are leaders, physician leaders and physician executives. Going on to medical schools and medical colleges, the deans, only 16% are women. So this is how unfair medicine has been to women. And traditionally, we have to struggle through our careers to get to where we are. Even in medical schools, when it comes to choosing a specialty, there is a women-friendly specialty and there is a male-friendly specialty. Most women are forced to do, I would say. Even if they want to become a male, go to a male-friendly specialty, they will probably choose a woman-friendly specialty because of lifestyle. Saying, I want pediatrics, I want OBGYN, because I want to have a life. I don't want to be a surgeon and go to the OR in odd hours at night and be a surgeon. Have you heard of any man saying, I want to choose a specialty because I want to have a family life? Never. But we are supposed to do that. And we are ingrained to do that. When I chose a specialty, I definitely thought 100 times, what would I want to become? I definitely didn't want to be a surgeon, I wanted to have kids. So here's my balance on what I want to do based on my gender. Traditionally, medicine has been so demanding that there is no room for error. So say, I made an error in misdiagnosing a patient with cancer and I'm in a court of law. I am not able to say, hey, I misdiagnosed you because I was baking cookies for the PTA fundraiser. I would not. Nobody would listen to that. There is no room for error. So women tend to shy back from high error specialties to less taxing specialties so they can lead a normal life. I remember a friend in surgery, a medical school friend, who wanted to do surgery over and over again. The professor asked her, are you sure you want to do that? Are you really sure you don't want to have a family? This is the kind of resistance we face because there are no women mentors in those male-dominated specialties. There are very few female surgeons, as you may notice. But you find a lot of OBGYN physicians that are female. But again, we make choices based on our lifestyle. None of the males are supposed to do that. They do whatever they want to do. So these are the challenges I face. And now I'm going to tell you some specific instances that will make you laugh. Hey, I'm Dr. Kumar and I'm entering a patient's room. Hello, Mr. Smith, how are you doing? Mr. Smith is on the phone and he tells his wife, hey, can I hang up, honey, and my nurse is here. I am as professionally dressed as a male physician. I have a white coat on. You will not believe, but I've been called a nurse numerous times. And so are all my female counterparts. They will tell you the same thing. Another instance, I'm going inside a room. Hello, Mr. Smith, I'm your doctor. This is the procedure we're going to do. This is the rules we're going to follow. At the end of my conversation, when is the real doctor coming? So women physicians are either called nurses or subordinates to the male doctors, of course. Another instance, I go to a patient's room, I'm Dr. Kumar, how are you? I finish my conversation. Honey, can you hand over that picture to me?
We could just hear so many. Can you give her a round of applause? Question. What might be some of the challenges that you have faced?
I'd say, as I think for this question, I think there are two types of challenges I have faced and face. One is external and one is internal. And let me talk about the external one because the external ones I think are in some ways easier to handle. I've been in situations where I walk into a room or I'm in a conference or whatever meeting, right? And I walk in with probably 2 or 3 of my direct reports who may be, the typical white male, 6 feet tall, look great. That's not the criteria for my direct reports. But usually, if we walk into a client's meeting, whatever that is, somebody will come up and they automatically assume that one of them is in charge. And it's actually quite funny to notice them when they realize that that's not the case and how they try to kind of unwind from the situation. So I actually find it hilarious. The second thing is, I chose to, by the time I had my child, I was already an executive in a successful bank. And that comes with, I remember one of my colleagues telling me once that when I was nursing my child, and we had these, you have all kind of situations when you're in banking, and if you're in technology or marketing, whatever, there's so much pressure to get a lot of things done. I remember there was one conference call that was or meeting that was being set up at 6:30 in the evening, and it was something we had to deal with right away. I was leading a business line at the time, and I said, no, I have to go home. I can't be in the meeting because I have to nurse my child. He was 10 months old, and this person said, welcome to the executive life. I don't think you can miss this meeting. I said, too bad. I'm going to have to miss it, and we'll figure out whether I stay an executive or not after that. So I went home, and it didn't hurt my career. And my point there is, as women or as men, right, we just have to figure out where we say yes and where we say no, and just put our boundaries and be very clear about that. So those are the things I think, the external side. Internally, I'm now in a global role. I have teams in about 33 countries. We operate in 64 countries. And so I've been traveling. I've been in this role for 9 months. And I travel a lot. I had to travel more because I'm new to the company, new to the team. And it's an internal struggle for me because I love spending time with my family. I want to be home. But I think I just decided a month ago that I'm not going to travel more than once a month. And I decided, let's see what happens. And, I work for a company that's amazingly supportive, and they're not going to tell me you have to travel more or less. So, but it's the internal struggle of how much do I balance my time at work, time away from my family. And I'm sure a lot of you go through that. A lot of men I know go through that. That's harder than the challenges we face externally.
Thank you so much. Do we have time for 1 or 2 questions, or do we need to wrap up? Just 5 more minutes. Excellent. So I think you'll agree with me that this has been a fascinating panel. I mean, I've been trying to do remembering my next question and writing down be helpable and all of these other things. It's just been amazing. What questions do you have for the panel? We have time for a couple of questions. They are at your service. I'm speaking on your behalf. We spoke before. They're service-oriented, yes. Do we need to get a mic too?
Thank you all the panelists for the wonderful insight that you shared with all of us today. You have shared your professional learnings that you've acquired through the lives that you have lived and contributed to the society. I would like to know from a personal standpoint, personal perspective, what is the contribution of love in your lives? And how has love played a role in where you are today? And either of you can answer that. Thank you.
At the end of the day, right, to me, that's what keeps us going. As simple as that. And if we don't have loving families and, people who care about you and who are there, personally, for me, when I meet up with people, they say, oh my God, you're in this role or that role. Honestly, at home, my husband and my child, my family absolutely keeps me grounded. For them, I am who I am. It's not my title. It's not what I do, right? And I think love is an incredible, in my mind, it's what keeps me going.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. I'm not going to ask all 3 so that we can get 2 or 3 questions. So I'll just have, since Chandra answered that one, we'll have one of the other 2. There's a question there. Could we get the mic over there? And we'll have either Neethi or Jay answer this one. That's okay.
Hello. Okay, I have a question for you. You know how you were saying you have a disability? My son has a disability. So he is 15 years old. Cognitively, he's totally fine. What is one thing you could tell him that I could come back today and say, Roshan, this is what I heard from Mrs. Ketan, and I really want your advice on that, and your guidance.
I'm here because of my mom. So moms play a very, very important role. My sister and I went to the same school, and my sister used to go in a chauffeur-driven car, and she used to send me in a school bus. And that's because she wanted to teach me how to get up on their school bus, carry my school bag, and get to that school. So I think the one thing that you could tell him is trust in yourself, trust in your own abilities, and go, just, the world is yours. I mean, just go and get whatever you want to do, and never, never, ever think that any kind of disability, and I'm not talking about disabilities that are medical. We meet a lot of people that have disabilities that we cannot even see. And so just get over it. It's easier for me to say than to do for a 15-year-old boy. Again, growing up, we had a lot of, I grew up in India, so being dark and all those things have so many connotations, and it's really up to us what we want to make of it. And so I think one thing you could tell him is, go get whatever you want to get. I mean, if somebody tells me, no, you cannot have it, I want to just turn around and say, really, wait a minute, wait a minute. So when I was very young, they said, you should really study because you'll never get married. And I met my husband, and I've been married 10 years this year. Then the doctor said, you'll never have a baby. I have a 5-year-old daughter. So I went to Machu Picchu last week, sorry. I did zip lining. In Costa Rica, in the Amazon forest. So your limitations are in your mind and in your heart. So open your heart, open your mind, and open your mind.
So I think with this, we promised that we're going to end on time. So that's why, I could stay here honestly for 3 hours and hear these wonderful role models. But I think we're going to hand this over to Neil. And please join me in a wonderful round of applause for this panel.